Dress code with Green Party MLA Adam Olsen right here. And what do they say to you when you're going to be a part of the process?
They said shirt, buttoned up, tie, jacket. I said fine. Chuck Taylors.
Chuck Taylors, which you have the navy blues, which I haven't seen before.
I don't know if these are actually Chuck Taylors, but they are cons, and yeah, I like shoes.
You're doing it differently. I like it. Staying true to your style. Well, listen.
Oh, there it is right there.
It's been the summer of politics here in BC, 2017. First impressions with the movement. Now we have Premier John Horgan in place and the confidence and supply agreement. How have things progressed for you?
I think that they're going pretty well. You know, I think that this is the first time in BC that we've seen this kind of legislature play out, and you know, I think that there's going to have to be some patience exercise, but as well, we're going to be getting into the legislature here in the early fall and getting to business in the big room, as my son Silas calls it. So, you know, it's been a fascinating experience, an eye-opening experience, and I'm so grateful to be representative of the people of Saanich North and the Islands.
Well, it's an important role, and now the issues start to roll out. One of the big stories that came out this week, Petronas saying that they have canceled the multi-billion-dollar LNG project here in BC. I saw your statement on social saying, hey, going with LNG is moving in the wrong direction. How do you feel is the way to move for economic prosperity here in BC?
Well, look, we were very clear in the election campaign that we weren't a party that was interested in investing in the 20th century technologies, the fossil fuel technologies. Our leader, Andrew Weaver, has always been critical of the government, the former Liberal government, investing, going all in on natural gas. So when you say that, you have to put something else forward to let people know where we're going to go in our economy, and we're talking about the emerging economy. We've put forward Innovation Commission, an Innovation Commissioner. We want to be looking forward. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen in the future, but the creative economy, the clean tech economy, the high tech economy that is starting to boom around the world, we need to be positioning ourselves, and that's the work that the government does to position the province to be leaders in that. And in our supply and confidence agreement, that's heavily featured in the supply and confidence agreement, and I think that's the direction that we need to go.
So we've previously heard Premier John Horgan say if conditions are met, LNG is something they would entertain. If the BC NDP party went that way, would that be a deal breaker for the current confidence and supply agreement in place for the Green Party?
Well, look, we've always known that the NDP have a different position on LNG and a different position on that part of the economy than we do. We're not going to agree on everything, and in fact, part of the reason why we decided to go with a supply and confidence agreement rather than, say, a coalition or to be subsumed into the NDP was because we have very different ideas on these things. So what is laid out in the supply and confidence agreement is very clear. British Columbians can see it. It's public. And we wanted to remain members of the opposition party so that we could hold the government, the NDP government, to account on environmental issues and on social issues and on economic issues as members of the opposition. And so it's not these aren't deal breakers. We have a responsibility to keep a stable government. At some point, perhaps lines get crossed or whatever, but I'm hopeful that we can build a strong, solid relationship where we can agree and we can disagree without being disagreeable. I think a famous Canadian said that. So it's important for us to invest in building relationships, and we always knew that the NDP had a different position on LNG than we did, and that's fine.
Well, you've clearly focused on energy efficiency, and right out back here, Olympic Village, the Icebox Challenge will get underway today. What is this all about, and what can we learn from it?
Well, look, I think that it's really important that we take a look at what the opportunities that addressing climate change provide. And one of those is going to be retrofitting a whole bunch of buildings and then as well building new buildings. And this is a Passive House Canada production, I guess, where they're going to show how the Passive House technologies can save you money, frankly, if you invest in high energy efficiency at the front end. You can save money for the entire life of the building. what they're doing for new buildings is important, but as well we can take those principles and we can start to retrofit buildings and make them more energy efficient. You know, I built a house a couple of years ago with for my family, and some of the principles of Passive House we applied to them, and I can tell you that the building envelope, the building that we live in, it's a much nicer building to live in, and our energy bills came way down, and so there are opportunities here for us to create jobs, to invest in the future economy, and as well decrease the energy needs of a building.
Well, we get the reveal in the heart of Olympic Village today, and it's going to run throughout the summertime for you to check out. We'll put that info on our Facebook page. Adam,
Sweet.
thanks so much for coming by.
Good. Thanks a lot.